The clock ticked past midnight in a small, dimly lit apartment. The only sound was the faint hum of an old ceiling fan and the tapping of fingers against a wooden desk. Aram sat there, head buried in his hands, the weight of disappointment pressing down on his chest. Life hadn't been kind, lately lost opportunities, failed attempts, and a growing fear that maybe he wasn't cut out for the dreams he once believed in. For weeks, he had been waiting for some miracle, some helping hand, some sign that things would get better. He had convinced himself that perhaps someone would notice his struggle, that maybe a friend would rescue him, or fate would turn in his favor. But nothing came. His bills still piled up, his unfinished projects gathered dust, and his inner critic grew louder. Maybe you're not enough. Maybe you were never meant to make it. That night, as he stared at the empty screen of his laptop, a thought pierced his heart like a sharp blade. No one's coming to save you. At first, it felt cruel, cold, unfair. But as he sat with the silence, the truth of it sank deeper. No superhero was going to burst through his door. No man was going to magically appear with all the answers. No miracle was going to pluck him out of his misery. The world wasn't waiting to rescue him because this was his life, his responsibility, his move. Aram leaned back, breathing heavily, as the realization stirred something inside him. Perhaps it wasn't abandonment he was facing, but freedom. If no one was coming, then maybe it was up to him to take that first step. The next morning, he woke up early for the first time in months. He laced up his worn-out sneakers and forced himself outside for a run. His legs burned, his lungs screamed. But with every step, he whispered to himself, "It's my move now." He applied for jobs again, not with desperation, but with a sharpened determination. He revisited his long-forgotten side project and idea he once had for an online platform, and gave himself permission to start small, messy, imperfect. He stopped waiting for someone to validate his worth and began building it brick by brick through daily effort. The road wasn't smooth. He failed interviews, heard no after no, and battled days when the old voice in his head returned asterisk. Why try? What's the point? But every time doubt came knocking, he reminded himself, no one's coming. If I give up, it all ends here. If I keep moving, the story changes. And so he kept moving. Months passed. Aram wasn't an overnight success, but slowly, things began to shift. He landed a modest job that covered his bills. His online project started attracting a few curious visitors. His body grew stronger from his daily runs, and his spirit, once shattered, began to stitch itself back together with threads of resilience. He noticed something remarkable. The very people he once hoped would save him, friends, mentors, even strangers, only started showing up after he had already made the first move. They saw his effort, his consistency, his unwillingness to quit, and were drawn to support him, not because they swooped in to rescue him, but because they saw someone worth standing beside. Aram realized then, help does come, but not before you help yourself. Opportunities knock, but only after you build the door. People believe in you, but only when you show you believe in yourself. One evening, almost a year after that midnight awakening, Aram sat at the same desk. But this time, there was no silence filled with despair. There was a sound of his typing, his laughter, his plans unfolding. His small platform had grown into a thriving project. His bills were paid on time. His life, though far from perfect, was moving forward because he chose to move. He thought back to that painful night when he first realized the truth. Tears welled up, not from sadness, but from gratitude. If no one had come to save him, then maybe that was the best gift life had given him. It forced him to rise. It forced him to own his story. It forced him to discover a strength he never knew he had. Dear reader, Aram's story isn't just as it's yours too. Somewhere in your life, you might be waiting for the right time, waiting for the right person, waiting for someone to notice your pain, your dreams, your potential. But here's the hard truth. No one's coming to save you. And that's not meant to break you, it's meant to free you. Because the moment you stop waiting, you start acting. The moment you take ownership, you find power. The moment you realize it's your move now, you stop living as a passenger in your own life and start driving it. Yes, it will be hard. Yes, you will fail. Yes, you will doubt yourself. But every step you take will build a version of you that is unshakable. And here's the secret: when you move first, the world moves with you. People will show up, doors will open, opportunities will appear. Not because they're saving you, but because you save yourself first. So don't wait for a savior. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for the stars to align. The clock is ticking. The story is unfolding and the pen is in your hands. No one's coming to save you. It's your move now. This story, like I did for your previous ones,